I got a recent comment on one of my YouTube videos where somebody put something about how, where I probably made a comment that I always backed the blue. I wouldn't say always, but that I did support the police. And they said, well, be happy that you're just seeing the neglect side of the police and not the police brutality like this person had experienced or knew people had experienced. And they made some comment about how basically I'm getting what I deserve because of the way I voted. And so I just would like to address that, because I actually put, like, I understand why that person feels that way, because in some where they're correct, they are correct. Whereas in one, to sit there and say that I voted a certain way, that is not. I've already covered the time I did vote for Trump, but that was over Hillary Clinton, and I stand by that. I just do, because of the Clintons. And I believe still the Clintons were far more corrupt than Trump. I just do. That's my belief. Basically, what you like sort of research all what the Clintons are accused of, their ties to Epstein and all that. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, I'm just letting y'all know that's I did. But to sit there and say other ways that I voted, I do not identify anyhow. The point is that um, I do want to address something that is correct. That I did back the police. I mean, I know that there's police that have done things wrong. Absolutely. Literally in my research, I didn't even know this happened a couple years ago in Lake County. One of the, and I don't know if it's been, I don't know, I don't claim to know what happened, what all is, but I know that a Lake County deputy shot an African American male, and there was no body cam footage of it. It's how I knew that there was body cam footage from when he came to my house, because he triggered the blue lights. Just saying, that's how come I knew, because I was researching and saw that, and I was like, I don't even recall ever seeing that. But I'm also not into the news and stuff. But one of the things is that I'm not out, like, I don't have a ton of friends. It's me and my TV for the most part. I'm just being real. And so how I knew to handle this, or how I knew that there was a problem, was because of my shows, and how I've watched, reference all my Bravo shows. I watch 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, and all my Real Housewives, and Love and Hip Hop. And I remember recently, in the last few years, watching an episode of Married to Medicine, where they were Black Lives Matter, and it made me uncomfortable, but I watched it. I didn't want to believe what was being said. I still want to believe that there are good people in the police force, even here, even Eustis Police Department. I want to believe that there's good. And I will say that because of those shows, where I felt very uncomfortable sometimes, but I had to, like, I forced myself to listen, to have sympathy and maybe empathy, but to see what they were saying, that these were people that I have welcomed me into their lives to share their stories, and their family and their pain, like literally, like this year alone, I see what Dr. Heavenly's gone through with her son, and has broken my heart. I've seen what Dr. Simone has gone through with her son, and that hit. I literally, when she was going off on her son and her husband Cecil, I called my husband in. I was like, "You need to watch this." But anyhow, but it's because of that when I saw what was going on this week, where I was like, that's what they've been talking about. That's what they've been talking about. And so I'm sorry, and that doesn't mean yes, but it hit my front door, and so I won't stop. And if you're part of the Black community or the LGBT community or any other community, that now I can maybe help as I'm finding out my rights and I'm finding out how to stand up legally, you know, without like throwing stuff at the police or whatever. But I'm saying, like, without any kind of, like, just how to handle it, how to stop them, and like just to know, then I would like that opportunity. And I want to, I just want to do better, because I was led to believe certain things. You know, and I found that whether it was guns or DCF or the police or any of the other social things that I believed, I always tried to have an understanding and respect for other people's beliefs, but I did believe a certain way. And I found that there's been a lot of beliefs that I had in the establishment that were not true. And so I thank the people that are on my reality shows for sharing their experiences to the world, where sometimes they were probably judged, you know, like for saying the wrong thing, you know, and stuff. And you know, like I think back to how Dr. Jackie was recently, you know, had to defend herself. And I wasn't part of that message at all. But I was like, I know Dr. Jackie's like, awesome. She's, that's all I know. I know she's awesome. I know that she does stuff for her community and she puts her time and money into it. And I will always respect, whether I would have agreed or disagreed, or now some of what I've seen, I was like, that's exactly what they've been trying to tell us all. And I listened. I didn't necessarily agree, but I listened. And it's how I knew, when it did hit my front door, what to do, how to stand up, to know my rights, because of these shows and the driving force by a lot of strong females with all skin color. And so that's just what I'm trying to be for my community. But for the most part, my grandbabies and my daughter. But I want to be able to continue to help if you need help, you know. So this is just me sharing my heart and saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I buried my head in the sand, so to speak. I'm sorry that I needed it to hit my front door before I really believed. So I'm trying to do better, you guys. Thank you.